For the latest film interviews, reviews, and everything making news in pop culture, subscribe to Film Companion now. Such a pleasure to have the two of you on Film Companion. Mani sir, I want to just put it out there that I have been chasing you for an interview since I saw Bombay. And now 30 years later, it's actually happening. Yeah, Baradwaj is saying, don't even bring it up. Don't even say anything. No, let me begin by asking that, we've seen quite a few anthologies now, and most of them seem to kind of work with the 4-film model, which seems to fit into the 2 hours that seems to be a sort of sweet spot for streaming. This is, of course, 9 films on the 9 emotions. Did the two of you always plan for it to be big, especially because the proceeds are going to go to, to people impacted by the pandemic within the film industry? Was it always planned to be this sort of massive thing?
The need was big.
Yes.
And the need was really big because we have one of the largest workforce compared to many industries. And I think we have been the most affected because the longest spell we have not been working.
Yeah.
So the cost was big. So we had to think big, right?
In fact, Jayendra was considering adding a couple of more rasas also.
Yeah, just make up a few more.
Yeah. Now, the list of directors is really interesting because you have Vasant and Priyadarshan from the 80s, 90s. Then there's Gautam from the 2000s. Then you have the Karthik Subbaraj batch, so it is a range. Was it something that you planned, that you wanted like this, or did you, I mean, how did this kind of interesting, range of directors come about, including first timers like Arvind Swamy?
It's Navarasas, no? So we needed different kinds of. It is not a very consciously planned thing. It happened. We just wanted good products to be brought out. We wanted people who were very keen to do it, and people who had the time and the effort to put in, during this kind of a difficult time. So it kind of happened.
Okay. So the whole thing was you just put the word out, and then is that how it happened? Jayendra, you just kind of, you put the word out saying this is something we're planning to do, and then people volunteered, or you went after people, or how did that happen?
Actually, we were in fact thinking about whom all we can invite into the initiative.
Right.
And people, of course, people who were enthusiastic, who were readily offering to be a part of an industry initiative came on board.
Okay.
So it worked both ways. We were also looking for people, and people were also looking for participating in the industry initiative.
Right. So you had some kind of a wish list, and then it coincided with people who were kind of wanted to do this kind of a thing. So
yeah. We had approached a few more directors than that were on board right now, and this was the final list of people who really took it forward.
And more actors were, we had contacted a few more, and there were some more actors who wanted to be a part of it. We didn't have a correct role. So it was, once people knew that it was for a cause and that we were doing it, we had a lot of people wanting to be a part of it.
How did you match artist to rasa?
That each director picked the artist they wanted.
But there was no argument. Maybe two people want the same emotion, or there was nothing like that.
Yes, there was. There were favorite rasas for people, and
right.
There were rasas which were very difficult to execute or conceive a story around.
So what was a favorite?
I think a lot of people wanted courage, anger,
And what was the
Stuff like
least desired rasa on the table?
I think disgust.
And did the two of you
I-
ever consider like directing yourselves, maybe one each?
You know, for really, we were decided to be producers, and we didn't want to be getting onto the other side, and we thought this was a nice space to be in for this initiative.
Now, did you have a hand in the casting at all? Like, again, just like the directors, was there a wish list? Like, or did you just let each director say, okay, you guys, I'm giving you this project, you go pick whoever you want that you want to work with?
To an extent, it's a bit of, once we pick the director and we finalize the story, they had a choice. They could choose whom they wanted to work with. And if they needed us to help them out in it, we did. Otherwise, they would do
Correct.
it themselves.
So if they needed Mani sir to pick up the phone and say, hey, come on over, then they would ask you.
Please, please, please do this.
But Mani sir, it didn't even cross your mind that like maybe I can do one?
No, I think with the decision we made very early that we won't do this, that we will take only this job and not get into and it was a pleasure seeing 9 other guys struggle.
Tell me what is, it must be also a struggle to put together a project which is so massive, just the number of artists involved with this. So what are the logistics of this? Like what would happen? Let's say, like you said, some rasas were more popular than others. What would happen if you didn't see eye to eye with a filmmaker? Like how did you kind of negotiate those issues?
Jayendra? I think it's true for any situation, you have the similar problem when you make a film and you don't see eye to eye with the actor. So you have to convince, you have to go about it in such a way that it is right for the project. So it is sometimes there are these small difficult moments that you have to cross. And I think that's a part of the challenge, part of the excitement.
But Manisa, do people say no to you for anything?
You'll be so surprised. A number of people will say.
There is there is this sense right now that, I mean, this is the first actual OTT entry for both for Mani Ratnam and for Jayendra. Now there is this, over the years, we've been asking various people how they see this going. Is it just a pandemic thing, or is it is it become a genuine habit? And a majority of them say that that henceforth there are going to be these big, tentpole kind of films that will drive people to theaters. But a lot of the other films, people are going to be very happy consuming at home. What is your sense of it? I'm asking this to both of you.
I think both have their place. I think we are going to live in a world that has cinema, OTT, television, streaming in others platforms. And we are going to live with all this, and it is going to be a choice on what you watch, where you watch it. And I think the consumer is going to have the choice. And it is up to the filmmakers and to really draw them into whichever form of delivery they are choosing. And I think the job becomes a little more complex for the creator to draw the audience to watch the creation.
Right. Now, this is a question for Mani Ratnam. When you've spent your entire career with the big screen, thinking for the big screen, that kind of a thing, do you ever see yourself, first of all, is there a difference? Yes, both are storytelling in a way, OTT and the big screen or whatever. But is there any fundamental difference between the way one would approach a story being told on the big screen versus something that you might do? Might you get more freedom in the OTT space or something like that? How do you look at it?
I think the first rule that comes for a theatrical release is this 2 hours plus minus
Right.
rule. I mean, that defines how you tell the story. It kind of divides your acts, everything it does. Whereas that is the first thing that gets liberated in OTT. You have a choice of doing an anthology, 9 different things put together. You have a choice of doing, long format stories, and then you have seasons and things like that. So I think it opens up a huge, formats through which you can tell your stories. So I think it'll be very liberating. I think it'll see a lot more filmmakers, and I think there's a little more space for the niche films which could not find space in an open market in a theater. They all will find places, and they will find their audience in various parts, not necessarily the one next to the theater.
Right.
So I think it will change the way and the kind of films that are being made.
Okay.
Will this also in some way sort of further a restructuring within the Tamil film industry? Do you think more systems will come into place? Because OTTs do work with showrunners. These are job descriptors that we've never had before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of discipline will have to come. I think we can't have the same rules that you had before, where you say that, I'm today not happening. I mean, they'll have budgets, they'll have schedules, they'll have to meet. So I think working for for OTT or for television means a stronger restriction. The budgets might be smaller, and you have to deliver within that. So I think it'll bring a lot more discipline, but I don't think it's limiting, in the sense that, I'm sure that there are big scale things that are done on television, on web, on net, which cannot be done on feature film even today. So it kind of opens up both ways.
I have another question on just audience taste. So through the last 15 months, as we've all kind of undergone this complete upheaval of life as we know it, there's one school of thought. Like, I was doing a conversation with Rajamouli, and he said that he thinks that audiences are going to come out wanting more, as more demanding consumers, because they've spent so many months now watching things on OTT. But there is another school of thought that no, in fact, all they will want is the big screen sensation, right? You go in and you just want a really good time. You want the roller coaster ride, because at home you didn't get that. What is your sense of this? Where do you see audiences going?
I think, if I look at me, I'd look at myself first as an audience. So I would definitely want to go to the screen and watch films also. But like Rajamouli says, I would expect it to be really something which holds me completely, because it is not at my time that I'm going. It is not at my pace that I'm watching. I'm committing myself. So probably my expectation tomorrow will be much more than what mine was yesterday, So I think those sensibilities will be slightly different, at least for a while, till we kind of settle down into a new normal.
He said that people will still want to see Salman Khan taking his shirt off, but they'll want a reason for it.
Jayendra, why haven't we seen anything from you after 180? Was it like now with OTT and all that? Do you see yourself trying to make the movies that you might have wanted to make, but there were various reasons that you couldn't?
Yeah, I really see the OTT as a very liberating for a filmmaker like me, where I want to really make films which might not be more broad-based than,
right.
And therefore I see this as a great opportunity and potential to not appeal to just audiences of one language, but more universal, taken across borders. I feel that's a great opportunity. And for me, especially, I feel that this probably would be a better domain to be in.
Okay. With Maniratnam, I have this question. I see you are making Ponniyin Selvan. It's I mean, it is instantly seen as a big screen film because of the scale and all that. But something like Game of Thrones, which was made for, it's a kind of a similar situation, huge cast, big sets, like a period kind of a thing, which has worked exclusively and become a big hit by, just on the small screen alone. Like what I mean is not in the theaters. Do you think there will be like the people are becoming platform agnostic in a way, in the sense that you no longer feel that a Game of Thrones has to be a big screen experience, or can a Ponniyin Selvan be an OTT, like a something that people can see this one? I mean, it is a hypothetical question, so
I'm seeing it this way. I'm saying Game of Thrones could not have been made as a feature film so easily.
right.
I think the story, the entire space that it requires is that much. I think it works best on OTT.
Right.
So it depends upon the story that you want to say. If that can fit into, a theatrical length, then theater is good. If it cannot, but if you can go to OTT, I don't think that different an experience. I mean, people still are watching, films, whether it's OTT or theater, as long as it delivers. So if you have a long format story, I think people will be equally interested. If somebody can do Ponniyin Selvan as, as a web series, I'm sure that will work as well.
Okay.
Do you see the star system changing? Because what we are seeing here in the Hindi film industry is the emergence of actors who are, of course, already in feature films, but their careers have got a real kind of boost because of streaming, like Jaideep Ahlavat after Patal Lok, or like Pratik Gandhi, who's just, come out of nowhere blazing. Like, he was doing Gujarati feature films, and now he's a massive in-demand actor in Mumbai. And it's a wonderful thing to see, to not have those kind of very rigid structures that we did in at least the Hindi film industry. Do you think anything similar might happen there?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it will happen, because I think it's wonderful to see good actors coming out and having, meaty roles and being able to deliver, not restricted to a handful of actors. And I think it's really great. I think it's really great for the actors, but even better for the filmmakers. I think it will be a pleasure to have people who can deliver well, for you.
Unlike the movies, I don't think people are switching on to a particular series or content on the OTT platform for an actor. I probably read the log line, and if that appeals to me, then I watch that.
Yeah, it's so exciting. You're actually, the story is the star.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful. Mani, so what do you like as a producer? Are you tough? Are you, or are you sort of, because you're also directing, do you feel the pain of the director, or are you a tough, outsider who sort of calls the shots?
It's a job that I'm learning, so I think I'm not a tough and I don't have a whip in my hand. I believe the director should have his elbow room. I think we together will make whatever observations we have, and we would argue that case. But the final call will be the directors.
With the both of you, did you have any, being creative producers, did both of you sometimes have some arguments about how a story should go?
I mean, did we fight? No.
We fight about who talks to a person.
This looks like a very... Yeah, this sounds like the best part of the interview coming up, but neither of them is going to say what it is. So I think you just said that.
How you sorted it? Like, how did you settle those arguments?
Toss.
No, it's usually a list and we divide it.
Okay, and I know you're not even going to want to answer this, but can I put you on the spot and ask if you have any favorites from Navarasa? Like one film that's really close to your heart?
Yeah, of course. We'll tell you later.
Does that mean that there's going to be another interview, which is like...
we hope.
Yeah. Jayendra will make a list. I'll make my list. Okay.
Listen, after 30 years, I should at least get two opportunities for an interview, right?
Anytime, Anupama.
Daddy, anything else?
No, I just got this request from this chap who apparently wrote a book on Mani Ratnam, and he wants to know if there's going to be a kind of a sequel of a book with the remaining films that need to be discussed. I forget his name, but he just wanted to ask Mani Ratnam this question. So if you could just answer that, I could convey this to him.
What book? I don't remember any book.
Oh God. Apparently this person is living in a delusional world. So,
I think, Mani sir, you have to do it because now there's so many more films to talk about.
Navarasas.
Yeah, Navarasa.
Indeed, absolutely. Thank you so much. This was so delightful and cannot wait to see it. Honestly, I'm hoping that after we've seen it, we get another opportunity to, deconstruct it with you.
Is there a date, a rough date that we can expect? I mean, I don't recall a date being announced yet.
The series is releasing on 6th of August.
Right. And what was the total runtime?
9 films roughly.
9 films, half an hour each.
Okay.
It's about 4.5 hours. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Some a little longer, some a little shorter.
Well, look forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.